Inside the Eye Live, where we break down some of the weekly mainstream media talking points before the talking points even get aired. Add in some entertaining stories, weather, cats, intriguing and informative guests, and you get one of the most listened to Saturday streaming media political talk shows going today. And it's all right here on our flagship station, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So join me, The Fetch, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
The future is uncertain. I know this. Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain, as free men, it is our right to live unencumbered and in peace. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And as the chains grow tighter, our ability to slip those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Inaction is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more. And this is Nighthawk, and I say, for myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is slipping away. All right. Thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
So yeah, good evening. Good evening. We're going to run this show standing up for the time being. I'm not running a traditional roundtable tonight. I might take a call or two, a statement or a question, but I'm not running a standard roundtable. Having said that, I got a few things lined up. I'm definitely going to I'm going to get back into the roots I started with, if you guys don't mind. And earlier in this chat here on Chatsy, I put the other YouTube channel in. So if you want to see all the videos, I will also drop links to the videos I share in Chatsy, of course. Chatsy, what am I talking about? I'm talking about freedomslips.com. I want you to find your way over there. We got a chat room set up in the middle of that page. You can come in. We got all kinds of ways to help. You can contribute, and it's a free reign. It's free speech. I tell you what, it's probably one of the very last remaining frontiers of free speech on the net. If you think about a lot of the platforms, right? So right now, I just want to make a quote, and it's brought to me by one of my chatters. Pardon me. That wasn't the quote. Yeah. Quote, when a well-packaged web of lies has been sold gradually to the masses over generations, the truth will seem utterly preposterous and its speaker a raving lunatic. Yeah, that's Dresden James. A good read on this cat. I suggest everybody go find some reading material, get yourself a little educated on these types. I'm going to play a little bit tonight. What we're going to do is I want to cover some of the topics I was headed to during the beginning of this this process here on Revolution Radio, this development that I'm going through right now. You know, I'm looking to how do I say this? I'm working on my craft, right? That's what we're doing here. You guys are along for the ride as I build my craft, and I appreciate that. And let's go there. Boom, much better. And we'll do this. A little late, folks. Boom. Okay. So look, we're going to talk a little bit about some self-ownership tonight, some self-efficacy, and some self-agency. And I'm going to play some videos. Okay, and I'm going to break down some videos, and I want to get back into describing my own manifestation to the current times, right? So I'm gonna do my best right now to give you my version of self-ownership. A lot of people link self-ownership to slavery, and whether is it possible that if do you just one truly own themselves, or are you a commodity by a much bigger entity? And furthermore, what is slavery, right? Well, slavery is the involvement of a third party to rule over the second party for the first party. Are you guys catching that? So what's going on right now in this community? I want you to pay real close attention to what this gentleman says. All right. His name is Walter E. Williams. And this is a speech going back to 1991, I believe. This is the year I graduated high school. You do the math. So this cat, I stumbled upon some years ago, and I could pay homage. I can give a few thank yous. I found this guy to be extremely encouraging. Look, I was a based individual early on. The challenge was always there for me, whether I wanted it to be or not. I guess this goes back to just self-recognition, if you could. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight might seem a little selfish to some of you. And that's not the intentions at all. It's not the intention. No. What I do tonight is going to correlate with what I did last Thursday, where we straight up ran out of time. Well, no, it was before. It's been 2 weeks, right? We're going to do part 2 this next Thursday coming up. We're going to do part 2 of how to stay away from victimhood. I'm doing a 2-part class, a 2-part series on it. All right. What we're doing during this class, these sessions, is that I'm breaking down how to identify those truly living in victimhood and starving for the truth. All right. Starving for the truth. So let's see. Let's go back over here. I got another chat room I'm building. As most of you know, I have been a victim of the purge. I have lost both of my main channel and my backup channels on YouTube. I'm starting from scratch one more time. We're going to run it. Lesson learned. So, Athrenas, welcome. It's good to see you. It looks like you got a few people in there. Welcome, everybody. If you're new for the first time, really do appreciate it. This is kind of an off-topic YouTube channel that I'm running. This particular channel is going to be dedicated to, I guess, personal growth. All right. I'm no doctor. I'm no psychiatrist. I'm not a shrink of any kind, a therapist of any kind. I don't have any legal advice, medical advice. I don't have any cures for ailments. I don't have a cure for stupidity. All right. That's not me. That's you. You're walking around correcting people's stupidity. You're a better man than me. I'm done. I'm over it. Completely done. Completely out of you know what. It's over. I got a new battle. Most of you know, some of you don't, but as you're about to learn, these are the ingredients that build a based individual. Yeah, you take a look at Jocko, right? Everybody knows who this cat is. Does a podcast, Navy SEAL, trains in martial arts, shot caller. All right, operator. All right, I'm not on that level. I'm not that kind of dude. It's too much authority for me. Than what he had to navigate through to get to where he's at. I would have to listen to a lot of people, and I guess I just don't have the willpower for authority. I can accept that. I can be humbled by that. All right. That's just the way life is. That's what life brings you. You can't go around judging yourself on the successes or skill sets of others. This is an independent status for life. Your life is an independent status. It doesn't matter. You're married, you got 24 children. You're busy, but you're still, technically you're still on your own here. That's it. That's just the life you're born into. At the end of the day, it's going to be you that's responsible for you. Self-ownership is about much more than just being based. It's accepting the consequences, right? It's willing to put yourself out there. I like to refer to it as the eye of the storm. This is not a fight for everyone. And again, I'm on no pedestal. I'm not special at all. I'm just a dude fed up. I think that would be enough for most people. But apparently it isn't. As I find myself surrounded by victims. I'm going to give you 2 case in point scenarios. These are real life events that I witnessed. And I'm trying to be polite around town unless I'm participating in these activities, right? So I'm not really filming much when I'm at the park with the dog or whatever, right? But today, ladies and gentlemen, was a special day. I'm going to tell you what I saw happen and the absolute ludicrous behavior that I witnessed today. I'm not sure if anybody will be entertained. Look, this is not about entertainment at this point, right? What is this about right now? This is about education. Classes in session. I'm not a teacher. I'm just sharing with you, an experience, okay? It's very important everybody understands this, all right? Eagle Flower, how are you doing? Sam Squatch, Pack, Valerie, welcome. Is everybody still hearing me here? We're good? Yeah? All right. So I'm at the park and I'm walking around with the dog, right? And, to be honest with you, when I'm with the dog, people tend to stay clear, all right? But in this particular case, I positioned myself just to see what effort someone would go to. So to get around me or whatever. And I saw a couple coming up. They had a dog. And the race here doesn't matter. The race here does not matter. And I'm gonna do my best to take this aspect of my conversation out. Because the more we talk about race, the more it feeds to the division. There was a couple, period. That's all we need to know, right? We got to start shit canning the bullshit. So the couple approaches in there, it's a little embankment. It's a bit of a Y coming from the direction behind me, right? So as I look forward, it's a Y. You go down into the tunnel or you go up the hill to your left a little bit, and then the park kind of widens up. They're coming through the tunnel down below, down the embankment. They're coming through the tunnel, approaching me. They got their little, looks like a golden doodle. All right. That's probably racist or something. It's a golden doodle. And they're on a good march. They're both wearing masks. Appreciate that, Sam. Yeah. They're both wearing masks. Okay. But they're obviously a couple because, they're arm in arm. The dog, you can kind of hear them having a muffled conversation. It was definitely a foreign language. So I didn't understand what they were talking about. They walked past me. They made the way. I had Kuma in a position where there was kind of off to the left, and I was curious. I wanted to know if the mask was going to come off in the car, because keep in mind they were wearing the mask outside together, outside in the free air where plenty of circulation. Whatever you breathe out is just going to die instantly and dissipate and be gone, right? Out in the open, right? So I hightailed it back to the car. I pretty much guess what kind of car they were driving to, by the way, but we won't get into that. I shit you not, okay? I'm not lying. I shit you not. The moment they both had their doors closed, the mask came off. Okay. Here's my question. This is what I find disturbing. In the wide open air, when they're alone, they're wearing a mask. In a low circulating circumstance, like a really small SUV, like one of those RAV4s or something, not even a legit SUV, Bronco, all right? Okay, K5 Chevy Blazer, all right? A proper SUV. Get a grip. Anyways, so they're in one of these wannabe SUVs, right? I'm not critical at all, not in the least. And the mask comes off in the car, both windows up. They drive off with both windows up, but no mask. Do you understand what this is about? Can anybody explain this to me? I'm all about it. I'm waiting for a definition. or an example or something. Bring some light, people, because I'm a little stuck. I'm a little stuck right now, and I don't, Mr. Waters, how you doing? Yeah, I'm a little stuck. All right, because I don't understand this type of action. Why would you breathing? In closed quarters is when you should be wearing the mask, according to the CDC. Cat, dog, cat. Screw it. The CDC, right? If you're in closed quarters, social distancing, close quarters, you should be both wearing a mask in the car. If there's two of you in the car, you should both be wearing a mask. In fact, you should probably put a mask on the dog, according to cat, dog, cat. Right? But no, the mask came off. I just don't understand the ludicrousness of this. It's just gotten to a level of complete insanity. I no longer see how people come to these interpretation of the orders or the mandates or the law, for that matter. These people clearly don't own themselves because they can't think for themselves. And you want to know what stripped that ability away? Fear. Fear is what stripped that away. The cognitive thought process, where the self-ownership, that cognitive ability to represent yourself, regardless of what the outside perception of you might be. The difference, right? Because we know this. In order to analyze self-ownership, we need to analyze that how you see yourself, not analyze, but recognize how you see yourself is probably light years away from how others see you. I'm not talking about whatever name tag, position, lab coat you wear. All right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you know in your heart what you're made of, whether you're a criminal, a thief, a doctor, or a legit criminal like a lawyer. No offense to the lawyers out there, but most of you guys are criminals. You operate within a criminal syndicate. Okay. Yeah, I said it. That's why I'm just going to represent myself as a man in a court of law from here on out. I'll take the bumps and bruises. You had to have had forfeited your ownership. Okay. You had to have forfeited self-ownership, any kind of base position you have had, in order to continue buying this narrative that we're currently living in right now. You cannot justify to me that it is a medically sound practice at all. You can't. You can't tell me that it's a medically sound practice to breathe in your own exhaust. I tell me what competent medical professional can tell me that and put his hand on the Bible. I can't. Listen. Here we go. Check this out. All right. Look, we're gonna run a little bit, and then I'll say a little bit. We'll run a little bit. All right.
One of the most frequently heard justification for the attack on personal liberty is the pursuit of flimsy notions of social justice. That is, notions of social justice that could not make make sense in any kind of consistent environment or analytic thrust. Now, allow me to establish what I consider to be the first principles of social justice. And the first principle, if you pay any attention to John Locke and others, von Humboldt and Goethe, is that each of us fully owns himself. That is, no one has the right to own another individual. Now, if we accept self-ownership as a first principle, then certain standards of moral conduct necessarily follow. Among the shall nots in moral conduct or in conduct are murder, kidnap, rape, theft, and any other act that violates individual ownership rights. Now, most Americans have little difficulty in accepting these requirements of self-ownership, at least superficially. But however, they forget, ignore, or hold in contempt another very important corollary to self-ownership, and that is self-ownership is meaningless unless one owns what he produces.
Okay, so I'm going to make an analogy here, right? You can't acknowledge self-ownership, right? You can't acknowledge self-ownership without owning what you produce, right? So in this particular aspect, he's referring to your labor in exchange for money, right? So the idea here is that you can Locke's idea is that you could succeed. You could spend enough time paying other people's mortgages, basically, which is you paying rent. You're living in unowned quarters, and you're working for an unowned establishment. Okay? But eventually you can obtain self-ownership while living in those two scenarios. Okay? You follow? My analogy here is that if I'm not worthy of the product I'm selling, one, anti-mask, right? Two, self-ownership means accepting the consequences for what you claim to be, right? For what you are, for what you stand for what you represent, for the base that you bring to the table, right? You see how I can see the comparison here? He gets on. He gets a little bit more in depth here, but I see what he's saying as a much more hard-hitting it. He's so polite about the whole thing. All right.
In the extreme, if someone else owns all of what you produce, then self-ownership is meaningless. In other words, a very good working definition for slavery is that a person produces things, but he does not have ownership rights to what he produces. He is forcibly used to serve the purposes of other people. Now, in our society,
he is forcibly used to service the agenda or the services of other people, right? What is your local health department doing? They're servicing the agenda of other people. They have no choice. They're being made to do it, or they don't have a job. I hope you people are doing the math here. I hope you're doing the math on this. Don't be throwing your paper airplanes at me either, all right? And I felt that little spit wad in the straw, huh? On the back of my neck. I felt that, all right? Easy, class, easy, all right.
This aspect of self-ownership has been under relentless assault for decades. Each year, each of us have fewer and fewer ownership rights to the fruit of our toil.
Where are we right now, right? They have convinced the good majority in this country that there's some type of law that says you have to wear one. Where are we right now? Besides La La Land and feelings of driving the car. People so afraid they can't think for themselves. Getting into the closed quarter. Remember, there's no indoor dining in California right now, right? For the most part, outside of a few exceptional counties with decent sheriffs. But think about it. There's no indoor dining in my town. Oh no. You'll get a citation, whatever. There's no courage in my town either, I'll tell you that much. There's a little bit here and there, a couple reaching out, right? But you can get in the car and take the mask off and the windows up. See how the logic fades, right? See how it doesn't make any sense anymore, right? All right.
And this can be seen through several estimates giving the amount of time that we toil to pay federal, state, and local taxes. For this year, we will work from January 1st until May 8th to pay federal, state, and local taxes. That means that we do not have ownership rights for over 4 months of our productive output. Last year, it was May 6th. And how much do you want to bet that next year it will not be May 8th? And it won't be May 6th either.
This individual does a lot of good work. He's more of an economic kind of guy. He does do some speeches at some college campuses that I find remarkable, and they're just really in depth. And when I'm not, we'll run these a little bit more as I got a couple of these lined up that I want to get into. All right, this is beautiful right here. So this is a great article I seen a while back. I'm going to share it with everybody, and it's not really a video. I'm just going to do some reading. So I will bring this. I'll keep this where I'm at actually, and we'll do some reading from here. There's no point in switching screens. This is a better screen, anyways. So like right now, I want to address some of the pressures on everybody. All right, and this alludes to the. I can stop the screen right here, make it a little easier on myself. This alludes to the ability to once you self-recognize, then you can self-teach. Because if you can self-recognize, most likely you can recognize certain types of individuals in your surroundings, right? You see what I'm saying? Well, Francis, very interesting. Yeah, well, Francis, appreciate it, man. Everybody's like, hey, man, that's like your opinion, man. All right. All right. So I want to read this to you guys and, tell them what you think. I welcome all kinds of constructive criticism, but there's a lot of pressure for everybody right now. And, there's still this expectation that you're supposed to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, your belt loop, or your ponytail, whatever it might be, right? And, the man buns today, I guess those qualify, right? So you're supposed to perform at your best in all stages, right? Work, school, family, friends, you name it. These expectations are, they move around a lot, right? Some could say a moving target. You'll get a sense of desperation eventually. Anxiety will build. Okay. Doesn't matter how good your act is, you still feel it inside. I've said this before. I've been very humble with the emotions that I'm going through when I participate in these activities. And the fact that I've been sustaining this effort for over a year now on my own. I can't be the only one in town. I don't. I don't have any excuses for my town anymore. You know, the fact that they don't have the capacity to think for themselves at this point, even the people that suggest that they agree with me, I still get a sense of their cowardice, unwillingness to fight. Seems that now, as opposed to 6 months ago, because the crowd I got coming at me 6 months ago or 4 months ago was, I'm losing money, and well, I got PPP, so I'm good. And all of a sudden that PPP's gone. They got a lot of people hitting them up at work. Only a select few are able to go back. There's a huge double standard taking place between the resort and the town. So maybe people are starting to see the real problem here. Maybe they're starting to feel the pressure, right? Stress and pressure, right? So stress and pressure, they're two very different things. It's apples and oranges, right? So this is going to be a bit of this article that I'll read verbatim here. We often use stress and pressure interchangeably. You can see how people could do this, right? Stress and pressure. I know the difference here. All right. Again, obviously, this is something I'm bringing to the table. Beg your pardon. Quote, working in a stressful job or feeling under pressure are related. They are, but they're not the same. Stress is when the demands of our environment outweigh and this is very important here, because remember what I said earlier on, that our perception of ourselves can be vastly different from the outside perception, right? Let me read it again. Stress is when the demands of our environment outweigh our perceived ability to respond. The challenges of our daily lives make us feel threatened. This is stress, right? We don't have the time, patience, energy, or money to meet those hassles. This is stress. Here's pressure. It's a situation that can have significant and negative results if you don't perform well. It's not just about having to work, having to pay rent, having to pay the bills, having this type of weight on the shoulders, right? Okay. Pressure is a situation that can have significant and negative results if you don't perform well, hence performing under pressure. It feels like a life or death situation for a lot of people. They're just not built, right? A lot of people aren't built to be managers. You got a high capacity, fast moving restaurant, high capacity, fast moving bar, nightclub, okay? Amusement park, a Dave and Buster's, right? Indoor amusement park. I wonder if they're bankrupt. They should be by now. They've been closed. A baseball park, right? Yeah, high moving, right? Not everybody's built to be a manager. being a manager is not always about having the right things to say to people. To an existence, it is, I guess. But it's more about how you can flow between situations. Every day is a new set of circumstances that you know you're going to find yourself in. There could be somebody who doesn't like the food. There could be an individual that you guys get this, right? I don't need to paint this picture for everybody. I think this is like common knowledge. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, you know. It should be. If you're walking around and you're afraid of your reputation being damaged, your relationship being damaged, you know, you want to get a promotion, you don't want to get hurt, you know, you have all these pressures. Okay. All right. So if you can't figure out the differences between the two, you're going to come up with some issues. You really are, because you're not going to know how to define yourself. Because if you misrepresent those in your actions, you cause yourself even more problems. Let's get to it. Managing stress is about your ability to adapt. Your brain determines the external threats or challenges and creates a physiological behavior. It's the type of response that can be either adaptive or damaging. I choose to adapt, right? I choose to fight back. I guess more than just adapt, but fight back. Quote, stress is often given a bad rep, but it can be extremely positive, says Michael Bell. This is the director of the Asia Pacific at the Institute for Health and Human Potential. They got all kinds of things crossed up. Yeah, it makes sense though, nonetheless. But stress can be either negative or positive, like a positive stress. We can imagine what that is, right? The expert explains here, however, there isn't a good or bad pressure. It's just pressure. Pressure doesn't have a negative connotation to it, right? When you start to look at pressure like a negative thing, it's when you run into consequences. So again, I love the bullet points. All right, bullet points for me and a lot of my thesis when I was growing up was my go-to. I love the bullet points, and I love to be creative with the bullet points. Anyways, yeah. So here we go. Negative stress is caused by reacting to external threats rather than adapting to them. All right? Adapt and overcome. Negative stress causes most minor conditions, such as headaches, stomach issues. You got a hard time sleeping at night, right? You build up some stomach illnesses, some ulcers caused by stress, right? Excessive, prolonged, and unrelieved stress can harm you mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is the deal. When you allow these things to affect this. Look, I tell my mods, I tell a lot of the people that come in my chat room on YouTube, I tell them, if you can't moderate your stress and your pressure, if you can't live, essentially, this takes it to another level. This is along the lines of psychological drugs, psychoactive drugs. There's certain drugs you can take and you go on these 5-6 day trips. Okay. And I can tell you that it's illegal here and I don't recommend it at all. The ayahuasca. All right. The understanding in ayahuasca is that you witness all out hell and regret from your life in these visions. And then you come back overwhelmed that you faced your fears, that you faced all of your demons, if you will. And the understanding is that you face tremendous personal growth from the experience. What it slowly and gradually allows you to do is to develop a mindset of raw consciousness. All right. Raw consciousness. Try to think of a way that I can perceive. Oh, let's think of a way that I can explain raw consciousness to you and make sense. You're going to have to. Okay. I'll just describe events that happen with me to try to. I'll try to. Never mind. I take a lot of ridicule for not masking up around town. And it's not just from the public. Excuse me. It's not just from the public anymore. There's a lot of high, behind the scenes. A lot of high behind the scenes type of things that builds pressure on the weight of other individuals based on my actions, where they're kind of put in a compromising place where they have to make decisions based on my actions and whether they want to participate in enforcement. And so far, so good. They've made the right choices. They refuse to do the dirty work of a false narrative. I'm very fortunate in that manner. You can't say that for everybody else, right? So they're carrying a certain amount of pressure as well. What's up, Omega Logos? How you doing? Yeah? Am I putting you to sleep, Lauren? All right. I want to get back to the article so we can try to keep up with you guys. Read the article, same thing. And I'm standing up, so I should probably get one of these little desktop. They have these little desktop platforms. This is some good stuff. This is some of the meat and potatoes I was talking about earlier. When you turn your performance into a life or death situation, you're adding more energy to your mind, like a pressure cooker, right? There's so much volume that it can support before it explodes. This is what people act out. People get stressed out with the whole mask thing. They're torn. They don't want to wear it. They have to wear it. They're uncomfortable with it. They got to make the choice of one of them's got to quit working and stay home and homeschool the kids, while the other one takes on 2 jobs. There's a real life situations taking place right now. People got to decide public education over a future with a brainwashed, inoculated child. He's going to have 2 different worlds. You're going to send him to public schools. He's going to get 1 dose of bullshit. And you just got to come home to you. And you got to unravel all the bullshit. That just doesn't sound fun to me. I think I'd rather make another sacrifice. Find a way to make a living at home. Get on the net. Start looking around for something else. How you're ever going to have self-ownership. How you're ever going to have a child that grows up in public school and is manipulated every day. Your kid's going to have to go back to school with a mask on, 6 feet, no playing, recess canceled. They would have a hard time with me in school. That I couldn't even imagine. I get suspended and kicked out of all kinds of schools. Either way. The pressure just kind of rolls off me these days. I might have had a problem with it when I was younger. But it's one of the steps you take to self-ownership, how you deal under pressure, how you manage the pressure. So the example here it starts with at work. It starts with managing a staff and then situations. Life is no different. You walk out your door, depending on the town you live in, you don't know what situation you're going to come up against. And the better you handle stress, and the more you recognize pressure for what it is, just things you got to get through, right? Regardless of the task, pressure diminishes our judgment, right? Decisions, right? The focus we have, right? Performance both in the personal and professional area, right? See your friends, your family, their place of business, where you work, what you own, they all get compromised. So this guy, Henry Weisinger, right? He's the author of another book, Performing Under Pressure. So they did a little research. I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to break this whole thing down, but the research was like 12,000 people, right? They interviewed over 12,000 people. And these candidates were, they ranged from Navy SEALs to Olympic athletes to Fortune 500 employees, right? So he described how people, and quote, even the most successful ones can choke or crumble under pressure. This is look, I'm not saying one level or another is better when it comes to self-ownership. I am suggesting, however, I can't candy coat this. The more you allow conviction and integrity to be the monitor of your life and its decisions, the better off you're going to be. Right now, people are being governed by fear. And I've said it time and time again. Fear is the currency of control. So if you're going into a high pressure situation and you already know it's high pressure, and then all you can think about during this situation is the pressure, then you're not thinking clearly enough to address the situation for what it is. For instance, this line right here. A challenging situation can provoke strong levels of arousal. But pressure is something different. Becoming worried and afraid of potential adverse outcomes turns you completely off and makes you submissive to a degree. I'm telling you, it brings on that submissive state. This is what we have right now. The pressure to wear the mask, the pressure to not get sick, the pressure to not get anybody else sick. There's the pressure, right? This is affecting the self-ownership of society. Again, this is all my opinion, all right? This is my opinion backed up by an awful lot of research. You do the math. I'm paying attention to some heavy hitters right here. I'm just a big dumb goof. You ain't got to take it from me. Right? So a pressure moment is defined by its importance, uncertainty, the responsibility to others, and feeling judged. Those attributes drive anxiety, they drive failure, they drive embarrassment and stress. These are powerful forces that can be beneficial in the right context. Like anger can be a gift, right? Those are my words. Anger can be a gift when it's used correctly in the right situ. Okay? I want to read this back, just this one line, right? This is a pressure moment is defined. It's defined, the definition, what builds the case for pressure, the level of importance, uncertain, what you don't know, the uncertainty, right? You know, here's a quote for you. The anticipation of death is far worse than death itself. Because once you pass, you pass. That's it, right? I think I'm not sure if the break is going to come up now. My speaker's on. Beautiful. It's 2 minutes till. I think the break came out at the 56 last time. We got through an hour. I'm not going to read any more of this until we come back. YouTube, hang tight. I am going to drop the station for a couple of minutes, and then I'll come and pick up Rev Radio right back up. And we'll keep running it. Okay. I'm not sure. I can't recall if I got a middle of the break, middle of the hour break last time or not, or the second hour heading into the top of the second hour, right? I can't recall. Well, so far I don't hear it, so we're gonna keep rapping. So we're talking about the piece of cloth around your face, and we've talked about the so-called science behind it on here many times. I've read plenty of statements by medical journals across the world, not just the country, the world. New England Medical Journal, they don't approve of that thing around your face. Okay? It's just pressure. You don't want to be judged for not wearing it. You're allowing this pressure to get the better of your judgment. Still don't hear the promo. You're allowing the pressure. There it is. All right, folks, we'll be right back.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Okay, YouTube, we're off the air. All 5 of you, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. We're starting over. We're starting from scratch, and we're going to continue to run it. And I still got to talk to Lori about getting the right things in line to say for my appeal for the strikes. But listen, if those channels are gone, it is what it is. We knew what game we were playing. We knew what was at stake, huh? Truth Seeker, the show is not over. Hang tight. I'm going to do another hour. I got another hour to go, Truth Seeker. I've been checking out some of your material too, man. You ought to make more material, bro. You ought to. Probably do yourself a solid. You got some good material, man. We'll have to talk about coming on the show. Vice versa. Your channel, my channel, don't matter. This channel is a little bit different from my norm, right? What we're doing here is I'm going to have these lectures, and I'm going to use the radio station to deliver it from time to time. I'm going to do this question and answer session, maybe. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but I'm just going to start covering some of my own education and some of the things that I've learned over the years, man. And so listen, everybody just joining, if you're new here, I would appreciate a hello in the chat. Granted, there's not many of you, but most of you know Mr. Waters. You know, Athrenus, one of the original mods from the Mechanic Knows, Truth Seeker, a regular in my chat rooms over there at the old Mechanic Knows. So stay tuned for TMK. I'm waiting to go live on there, waiting for permission to go live on there. I did certify the phone and everything already, so we will hopefully be live on TMK2 sometime soon in the future. We don't know yet. We'll see how smooth that goes. We're going to get right back on the fucking radio here in a moment. But yeah, good to have you. Thanks for coming in. Hang tight, guys. We're going to do another hour of self-ownership. And I hope I'm making sense. Really. I'm trying to correlate the mask with, the mandates I'm trying to correlate the mandates with this notion that people have allowed the pressure to get the better of them, right? It's creeping into self-ownership. They no longer own their own actions. They don't own their own products anymore. And I'm comparing the product to their own actions. So, all right, hang tight. I'm going to bring it to the radio station.
So be there Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, here on Studio A on Revolution Radio. and learn what's really going down. A little honey on the lone highway. Let me pour another on the lone highway. They killed Dirty John McGee on the lone highway.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
There it is. Welcome back. It's the second hour here. It's midnight on the west coast of this here United States of America, that is. Because I doubt there's any united efforts between the corporation and the people. It just doesn't appear to be the case. It just doesn't. And they have convinced a good portion of public officials to do their dirty work. And we're going to continue along that path. So this is what we got going down. So like you got this thing where you allow yourself to build this pressure based on circumstances. Well, if it's anything outside of your control, one, you kind of got to roll with it to a degree. Now, if the mandate is outside of your control, but your rights haven't been suspended, you don't just roll with it. You roll over it, through it, on top of it, upchuck it, shit can it. You do what you can to destroy the narrative. That's the way I see it anyways. So here's the bullet point for this next little section here. You cannot control external forces, but you can manage internal pressure. Right? We're going to continue here. The duality between who you are and who you should be makes you lose clarity. You feel you are about to explode. Your real and ideal self are in a constant fight. What is that? Isn't that cognitive dissonance, hearing different logic, hearing different logical information, and now that fight takes place? You got to wear a piece of cloth around your face. We do not recommend wearing cloths around your face unless you're in an operating table. Yeah, that would be like some medical journal somewhere in the United States, right? Or around the world. I got these it's on another hard drive, but I got plenty of quotes. I got at least a dozen or two of countless medical journals talking about the inefficacy of the cloth around your face. It doesn't stop shit, to be quite frankly with you. Reconciling that tension, finding balance, will help you release the internal pressure. Let go of the need to be perfect, right? You're going to make some mistakes. I've made some mistakes. I've learned from them quickly. And that, again, people are going to learn at different paces. Okay? Again, you can't be abusing yourself there in these times. You've got to get back into that state of raw consciousness. You didn't give a damn what people thought then. Why do you do now? You're wearing the mask simply to avoid a situ, simply to go shopping. Why don't you make a call? Why don't you get on the phone with the corporate office tomorrow and tell them, I'm protected under the ADA with my existing conditions, and I'm afraid of the staff here. Can you make a call on my behalf? Thank you. And I guarantee you, they call over to that manager, they have a conversation. Well, I don't guarantee you. Depends on where you're at. They're going to call that manager. They're going to have a little discussion, because I can tell you this, that grocery chain does not want to go to bat with the ADA. They have in the past. These grocery outlets, these grocery companies, they have a history of losing to the ADA big time. The first offense, 75 G's on the table. They don't want to play. Trust me. Just trust me on this one. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you any advice at all. I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm not telling you how to live your life. But I'm telling you, if you don't want to wear the mask in your local grocery store, you need to call that corporate office and let them know that you're protected under the ADA. You don't have to you don't have to tell them what any of your conditions are, and that you would like access to their store with or without a cloth over your face. Let's start over. Reconciling that tension, finding balance will help you release the internal pressure. Let go of the need to be perfect here. Look, you're going to get ridiculed. People are going to, they're going to, look, I've faced it all over the last year, all kinds of garbage, potential acts of violence towards me, right? Rumors, lies, false reporting to the police. All right? This is what I'm talking about. Most of what happens in the world is just a consequence of natural, universal laws that apply to everyone, right? The mediocrity principle. It establishes that you are not special. No one is. What did I say early on? I'm not special. I'm just a dude up here who's fed up. That's all I am. That's it. No big deal. I'm not a special guy. I'm not a superhero. Not me. Navy, how you doing? Okay. Appreciate that, Omega. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not special. I'm nothing special at all. Okay. Ayada. All right. I'm just some dude. And I'm running out of Sasquatch. I'm running out of Dr. Squatch. What happened? All right. I keep getting these brave pop-ups, but apparently I'm making money. We'll see. So how can we get past this, right? Here's where we are. We're at this point now. It's been a year in. You have a bunch of individuals being controlled by fear in your town. They're all messed up. I found myself inside the local grocery store. There's 1.5 of them. And I'm in there, and I'm having a conversation with one of the guys, the staff, right? He was a manager. Fuck it. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. He was a manager. And he said, I asked him, I turned around and I looked at everybody behind me. It was all the cash registers full. All kinds of people in line. All kinds. I didn't have any business in line. I just wanted to see I just wanted to take care of some business up front. This dude, I look at him and I say, you're telling me that not a single other individual in this town is going to put their rights on the table? Yeah, he was shocked too. He's just as amazed as I am. He's just a brother trying to keep his job. I can appreciate it, right? Handling the pressure of critical moments determines a great deal of life success. Harness and manage energy effectively. Right? Avoid the deliberating effects of pressure. Learn to release steam, right? Learn to let it go. Learn to live in raw consciousness. Release steam rather than adding more pressure to your mind, right? So you're learning right now, folks. I guess would be the clinical method, the psychological method here. I got some more bullet points for you. The first one, all right? There's always a first chance to create a second impression. You might screw up your first impression, but you still have a chance to recover. How you manage failure says a lot more about you than being on a winning streak. I'm on a winning streak. I'm on a winning streak. What am I right now? 4 for 4? 4 for 4. No cloth around my face. No handcuffs on my wrist. 4 for 4. Yeah. Come get a piece. That's right. All right. So imagine you made a lousy presentation in front of a potential new client, right? Most people will tell you are done. It's over for you. You're out of here. You're never going to get another client. You're washed up. You're garbage. Wrong. Right? That's not the case. This is me talking. That's not the case. You've got to stay in the fight if you ever want to get somewhere else. If you ever want to achieve, look, I was self-trained. The career I'm in right now, self-taught. Yeah. 5 days, 2 months, 5 days, and a textbook. Yeah. That's right. I got it done though. All right. And I learned a lot of things on the way. The pressure, I just didn't allow it to overcome me. The moment you're free of that cloth around your face and you start doing it more and more often and you start to return to a sense of normalities, for me, it's been normal. I've never worn, I haven't practiced it. I've worn them for certain occasions to just go in and talk to a business owner about what I'm doing in town. That's it. Okay. Well, when I was working, I wore it to go up front, and that's, what can you do? That's going to change real soon because, well, we're making changes. This is the idea, right? You allow it to become back to your normal, back to the way it used to be, where this thing is no longer part of your clothing. You tend to forget it more and more, and you no longer, I'm done with it. None. You start making phone calls. You start living your life a little freer. You can't live in fear. That's not what this country was built on at all. It's up to you, really. I mean, you got to reach deep down inside and just accept the fact that people are not going to like your position. They're not going to like your sprinkles. I've said this before. How did I put it? You, get out of there. You sell 1 million donuts a year, right? You got a 5-star rating. You got a 5-star rating on Yelp, right? One day, someone's going to walk in there to your donut shop and they're not going to like your sprinkles. Bruh, that's just going to be it. You're going to have to eat that, bro. That's life, man. That's where we are right now. Whether you like it or not. That's where we are right now. Use your turn signal and you avoid some road rage. But you better be walking through the wrong way in a grocery aisle. You need to be all about that. Right? You need to be all about it. Remember, wake up the lion in you. It's time to wake up all the lions. You follow me? Wake up other lions. Make a habit of it. Turn your life back to what it used to be. Don't let that fear that has been installed into society control you. It's stripping you of your self-ownership. You are losing the cognitive ability based on fear to think for yourself. Think about where it's going to go in a year from now. It's already been a year, so now double the time. Do another year with that cloth around your face. Do another year. Go ahead. Who knows what you'll be willing to give up then, huh? I'll take 4 shots. Like another situation I saw today. Some lady wearing a mask. You can just barely see her eyes walking through the park by herself. Not even with the dog. Just by herself. You know, no one's going to make you wear that, I says to the lady, maybe approaching 70. I says, no one around here is going to make you wear that thing in your face. Right? You know what she says to me? I've already had 2 vaccines and I'm still wearing the mask. Like she was proud. She took pride in that statement. Disgusting. Disgusting. Just my personal opinion. The moment you accept your own flaws and you realize, these are my words, all right, and you realize that other people have the same flaws, it's a game changer. Absolute game changer. See you, Eagle Flower. Have a good one. Happy to put you to sleep. Anybody else need a nap? Huh? I know it's late for some people on the East Coast. I understand. My show will be archived. Feel free. This is that moment, right? This is that moment where you've got to decide for yourself what's best for you. There's never going to be a moment where I force a mask off of someone. But nobody here can guarantee me that the moment will never come where somebody tries to force a mask on me. That's going to be a real problem if that day ever comes. I cannot promise if somebody ever tries to put a mask on me, and it doesn't really matter what they're wearing or what their jobs are. Somebody ever tries to force a mask on me, there might be a real problem. Might be a real problem. I don't know. Again, we're talking about self-ownership here, right? I've got to own my own product, and my rebellion is a part of my product. It's what I create. I have to own it. My dissent, my discernment, if you will, right? You got to own it. I plan to. I plan to hold it. I plan to hold on to it as long as I can. All right. Yeah. And I don't want it to get to that moment. So, like I said, there'll be the day. The day will probably come. I don't anticipate the trifecta I need. We need new town managers. We need a new sheriff. And within a year, we're probably going to need a new chief. It presents a lot of problems for me. If we can't get all of these entities lined up, there's going to be real problems. All right. So I covered this little meeting yesterday. I covered it. I watched it. All right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this little. This is an example of self-ownership right here. Where am I? Oh yeah, I want to share my screen. There's a video here. I'll have it up on the YouTube channel here. But what I want to do first is I want to set this screen up real quick. I'll do a little share right here. And this is a cat who owns a restaurant in Huntington Beach. And this dude is legit. This dude is absolutely legit. And he's got a lot of legit things to say. His name is Tony. Shocker. And Huntington Beach, bad boy right here. Taking a stand. Taking a real stand for his restaurant and his staff members. And you got to love the energy in this guy. You got to love the energy in this guy. All right, here we go.
All the time. Naturally, I'm actually a very, very shy person, extremely private guy. That's been shot to hell. So, yeah. So, so when I'm up there, I ask myself that, and then I remember, hey.
In this country who truly never shut down his business. And when I say that, there are a lot of people walking around saying we're open. If your employees are masked, if you're wearing a mask, you are not open, okay? Not for 1 second did he allow that to happen, okay? I also want to say, before I turn it over to Tony, that we're here today in support of freedom and as patriots. And we're not necessarily aligned with, the idea of splitting up California, but we really do believe in the people that are here and what they're doing. So without further ado, Tony Roman.
Thanks, everybody. What an honor to be around so many patriots. When I'm up on stage talking to anybody, I ask myself, how did I get here? Because I tell people all the time, naturally, I'm actually a very, very shy person, extremely private guy. That's been shot to hell. So, yeah. So, so when I'm up there, I ask myself that, and then I remember, hey, our government, these tyrants, they saw an opportunity. They saw an opportunity, a pandemic of fear that was spread by the media, and they went on the attack. I counterattacked, and the rest is history, and here I am. So, thanks. So I don't know how many of you, thank you so much. I don't know how many people know our story, but we have a restaurant down in Huntington Beach, and I built this restaurant actually as a gift from my mother. She had one for 18 years. She fell ill. She's still alive, thank God. But the restaurant probably would have shut down. So I wanted to build her a nicer restaurant. And say it again. Basilico's Pasta e Vino. So I wanted her to have a restaurant that was nicer and bigger, in a better spot that would carry on her legacy forever and a tribute to her and her hard work and her dedication to the community. So I built it, and then I thought I would just walk away. But once you build a restaurant and you get accustomed to your customers and your staff, it becomes a beautiful thing, and it's hard to walk away. So that happened about 3 years ago. And then in 2019, I first hear of this virus going around. And I hear in China, what's going on in China, and I hear about them locking down. And I wasn't too surprised about hearing them shutting down in China because that's what they do. They're accustomed to that over there. But then I heard they were going to do it in San Francisco. I think San Francisco was the first place to actually do it in the U.S. But I was very, very disappointed. It's an American city still, and it should be saved. It's a beautiful place. But they caved too, and they surrendered. But people in San Francisco love communist policies. So, so I thought to myself, well, if it happens here, it's going to be a problem. But then I heard they're going to shut down the whole state March 19th. The very moment that I heard about it, I said to myself, it's not going to happen here. I am going to convert the business into a constitutional battleground. And we were going to take a hard stand. And I thought about our founders and how I would honor them. These are God-given freedoms that our founders had protected for us, and they risked everything. And then I thought about our military, the men and women that are fighting around the world to defend them. the freedoms and the liberties that we have that are so precious. And I thought, I'm not going to dishonor any of them. I'm going to honor them. And I took a hard stand. I looked at my staff and I said, we're not shutting anything down. It could be a plot of dirt with a door on it, but we're going to use our business to fight. And that's what I did. So we went on the attack. What I thought to myself was, we're not going to be on defense. We're going to attack the lockdowns. Wherever we see them, we're going to attack them. They make a move, we're going to hit them harder. We're going to punch them in the face with our actions. Yeah. So, thank you. A lot of fighters here, huh? I like that. Okay, that's good. Fuels me. The staff that I have, it's a young staff. I call them the good fellas of Basilicos. They're young guys. And they thought I was crazy. They thought, man, you're gonna lose the business, you're gonna lose everything. And I explained to them that I'm gonna fight in a style where I'm willing to lose it all. Because we can't make the fight about your business. It can't be about business or your right to work. You can work anywhere in the world. That doesn't make you special. What makes you special as an American is the freedoms that we all have and the history and traditions that we have. So I said, no way in hell. We're going to risk everything. We're going to lay it all on the line. And when the enemy of freedom knows they're fighting somebody who's not afraid to lose it all, it scares them. Then they realize, uh-oh, we knocked on the wrong door, So, yeah.
Some examples of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So recently, because a lot of people are afraid that they're going to lose something. And as Tony said, he's put it all on the line. His business is a constitutional battleground, and he's fought battles with OSHA, criminal prosecutions, most recently ABC. So if you could share some of those things because the business owners out here who are afraid and are refusing to, the big obstacle seems to be banning the masks, which are the absolute emblematic symbol of what this is really all about. And taking that stand seems to be the piece that's the hardest. But Tony?
So first thing I did was to signal to people, because everything turned into a ghost town overnight when the shutdown happened. So the first thing I did was I hung in front of the restaurant, flew it proudly, a live free or die, don't tread on me flag. That was a signal to everybody that we're going to fight. And and that same flag is still flying 11 months. It's been ripped at. People tried stealing it, torn, and everything else. And people try to bring me new flags. No, this one's going to stand till the very end. It's going to be up there always. So that's the first thing that I did. And then I banned masks. I banned the damn mask, and I banned the mask because of what they represent. They are the lockdown. They are. That's it. So yeah, and we take a very, very hard stand. We don't care what your excuse is. We're nice to people. If they come and explain what their condition is, we say, you know what, I understand that, but this is not the place for you to eat at, because our policy is our policy, and you can't compromise it. That's the thing people don't understand. When you fight a fight like this, it's an all or nothing fight. You give no ground, zero. That's how you lose. That's how now you see the Constitution has so many layers of crap piled on top of it since the beginning. You can't even see it anymore, And the only way we're going to rip it all back away is and get back to the basics again is if we say the hard truths, the things that need to be said. And you need to say it. You need to stand by your beliefs every step of the way. You cannot compromise. These people, you give them an inch, they'll take your arm away. That's just how it works. So we banned the masks, and we've since had, I get death threats all the time. People want to kill me, burn the restaurant to the ground, and spread the virus, and they taunt us, and they harass us, and they hate on us, and I love it because I know I'm doing something right. Yeah. So, and what they don't understand is when they fight us, we just dig in more, and we dig in more, and we dig in more. The bullies will pass when they realize that they're going to be bullied back. I mean, we'll bully them 10 times harder than they'll bully us, and we'll be provocative about it, and we'll antagonize them. I'll give you an example. So when we were getting hate calls and death threats, we put a funny voicemail greeting on our phone because the phone was ringing off the hook, calling them the funniest stuff, and we put a really funny voicemail greeting that just slapped them upside the head. If you want to hear it, either call the restaurant or it's on the Instagram page. It's really funny. Our Instagram page, you'll see we make fun of all the haters. We go after them. We're on the attack always. But Then we had the criminal case against us. We got a criminal case against us. So when the criminal case came, instead of folding and trying to compromise with them or reach out and make a settlement, what I did is I went public about it on social media and in the news, and I challenged who I call Gavin Pelosi. I challenged him, the tiny tyrant, right, the little dictator, the miniature guy, and his tiny Gestapo. I basically came out and said, look, I'm challenging you right now. If you have this case against us, don't hang it over our heads. File the charges. If you mean what you say, file the charges. Let's go in court before a jury of our peers, us against you, and let's see what happens. And let's broadcast it. And I've said it 3 or 4 times, and we've heard nothing. Then after that, we have 3 or 4 ABC violations where they want to rip us of our ABC license. It's a very valuable, hard-earned license, as restaurant owners know. So we had our court date on the 27th of last month. The way I fight is I don't use exemptions. I don't use loopholes. I use brochures. People bring that stuff to me. I say, get that shit out of my face. I don't want to see it. I don't need to use any of it, because if you do, you're giving them authority over you. It's kind of like in the Soviet Union when they stop you, say, where are your papers? I don't need to show anybody papers. I'm an American. It's freedom. F you. That's the end of it. That's what I tell them. That's it. I don't want to use any of that crap. Yeah. So when the ABC had the hearing, I thought to myself, wait a second, if I believe that, I can't go. Because if I go, I'm going on bended knee asking for them, to basically go there and defend myself. Defend myself about what? They need to defend themselves when I attack them. So what I did instead, it was pretty funny, is I filmed a video of me talking into the camera, and I had it queued up. And on the day of the ABC hearing, I knew that they were preparing for it. They had their court reporter, and I wanted them to invest all they could in it. They had their papers all lined up. Their judge was there. The attorneys were there, and their prosecuting attorney had texted me the night before asking me to settle. Tony, you can still settle and get yourself out of this. I said, it's not going to happen. I said, but you will see me tomorrow. I didn't say I'll see you, because it was kind of playing on words. I said, you will see me tomorrow. He said, okay. So in the morning, he texted me again. He said, you sure? I said, it's not happening. You'll see me soon. 9:30 was the hearing time. I was sitting in a robe still, drinking coffee, thinking they're all in there waiting for me to show up. And I had my laptop open, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make them sit around and wait until about 10 o'clock. So I hit send, fired off the video, and basically it's a video telling them it's not happening. I'm not coming, and do what you want, but I am not coming to you and kissing anyone's ass. And basically, you have to stand down and stand on the side of freedom, examine your conscience. Basically, it's me scolding the judge and the ABC. If you want to see it, it's on a website called Make Restaurants Great Again. Yep. And where did that come from?
So 2 things. I was going to bring up Make Restaurants Great Again, because this is where anybody that's interested in being part of what Tony is taking a stand for, this is how you can become a part of it, and he'll tell you about that. The other thing is...
Yeah. I mean, you get the gist here, right? This guy took a stand. He took a hardline stand against the ABC, state of California. Yeah. Alcohol Beverage Commission, I believe, something like that, right? Garbage. Here's the way I look at it. If you stand to lose your business, regardless of whether you stand up or not, then what the hell do you have to lose by standing up? I just like where this guy's coming from, you know.
Last weekend, Tony, and actually Judy Mikovits was also there last weekend in Ventura. We need to understand that some of the people that say that they're really fighting this cause are standing in the middle, and they're just chickens. And Right Side Broadcasting Network was showing the footage of this, and when Tony, they were the only 2 people that they cut away from and would not, Tony and Judy.
Yeah, I was giving a speech in Ventura last Saturday, and I was done with it. And I noticed afterwards that the reporters there were interviewing all the other speakers, and they didn't come near me. And yeah, they didn't come next. Yeah, and I've said this to people before in the past. People ask me all the time, how come Fox? How come the big, network media stations don't have you on? I said because They'd rather have the guy or the girl crying and saying, I've complied, but now, you know, they want victims. You understand? They don't want fighters. And so I proved it that day.
They want victims. They don't want fighters. Ah, beautiful.
Hey, it was proven to me when I got up there and spoke. I'm driving home, and she texted me and said, you're not going to believe what just happened. It was like 2 minutes in. The minute I said these words, ban the damn masks, they cut away. Then they explained we can't cover this guy and the topics that he's talking about. Right side media. Can you believe this? That's why today even, yeah, and I blasted them on social media too. It's on our Instagram page. You'll see it. But even today, I woke up watching that C-SPAN production that they had, and it was like, you know, the not C-SPAN, CPAC. And these are the people that you're counting on to lead you out of shackles, and they're wearing friggin' masks. Are you seeing that? They're all wearing masks. You know, it's depressing. So
He's absolutely right. He's 100% right. Everybody in that congressional hall wearing a piece of cloth around their face, that means they're participating in the lie. They're participating in a 99.997% survival rate. That's what they're participating in. Garbage.
you can't put all your faith into one person to lead you out of this. Each of us have to, like we were talking about it earlier outside. Yeah, the restaurant's a constitutional battleground. Now it is. There's even a cannon. I put a cannon in the restaurant. And it's pointed at the door. So if somebody goes through,
It's functional.
No, it's true. It's really a cannon. It works. Yeah, it's from the Civil War. You got to come see it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you know, each day you're faced with an opportunity to fight. That ground around you is a constitutional battleground. You have an obligation as American to fight right then. And what I mean by that is, talk about the masks. Think about the mask. When I sit in my car sometime and watch people walk into stores and they're already grabbing for their mask before they even walk in. They don't even make it a fight. This is a battle of wills. Dictators try to grind you down and wear you out. We need to outwill them. We're on the right side. So when you walk into a place, make them tackle you and force it on your face. You know, make them, instead of you saying, I don't want to fight with anybody today, I don't have the energy. We need to make them feel that way. They need to say, after they've gone through that battle with you, go, I'm never doing that again. I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to quit this job, you know? So, you know, and here's another thing too. I get a lot of calls from people around the world and around the United States who ask me, how are you doing this? How are you fighting? How are you still open 11 months and not changing anything? Zero restrictions, none. I remember one time I walked in and there was a bottle of hand sanitizer on the table, and I asked one of the guys that worked there, why is there hand sanitizer here? And he said, oh, well, you know, we got scared and we thought it'd be a good idea to at least have that. I took that damn thing and threw it out the window. Yeah, I don't want to see any remnants of the lockdown at all. That's why we also never put tents outside. We could put a tent in the parking lot, expand our business, but I don't want to be affiliated with the shutdown at all. Even if it benefits us, I don't want it. Yeah. So anyway, so thank you so much.
Restaurants great again.
Yeah. So make restaurants great again. I started this website and I have it up there, and basically it outlines, it tells a story about what we've done, and then it outlines the criteria to get other people to do what we've done. And it says to them, if you do these things, we're getting a lot of attention. We'll promote you and call you Make Restaurants Great Again business. It could be any business. Doesn't have to be a restaurant. And there's 4 items. There's a dog there falling asleep. I think I'm boring him. Very cute. So anyway, so the criteria is up there, and I tell people, people come into the restaurant, and they ask me about it, and they get all fired up after I talk to them. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the first one. So I wanted to ask everybody, how many do you think we have so far that will do exactly what we've done? 0, none. She thinks she found one finally, but 0. Yeah, no, they won't. I'm trying to get them to do that. Well, what they did is they put no mask allowed, but there's an excuse that says no masks allowed because. It can't be because. It's just, At our restaurant, you'll see when you walk up, there's an image of a man and woman and wear a mask, and the red line going through them saying it just says no mask. And there's guys at the door, and when you walk up with a mask on and you challenge us, we'll stop you at the door and we'll say take off the mask. And most people are shocked. They'll look at us like, wait, what? Take it off? Most people tell them to put it on, you know? So we'll tell them, no, you got to take it off. And they're, okay, they slowly pull it off, and it's dangling off their ears. And that's not good enough. All the way off. And they'll take it off. And if they're still not good enough, put it in your pocket, throw it in the trash, put it in your purse. We don't want to see it in the restaurant. And they'll do it, and they have a great, great good time. But I tell these people who call too from around the world, they ask me, oh, do you need lawyers? And, you know, can you refer me to a lawyer? Can you refer me to this and that? You don't need lawyers to fight. You don't need any lawyers. You don't need any. I'm representing myself. When I had the ABC hearing upcoming, I consulted some because I wanted to kind of understand how the court works, how the ABC court works. But all these guys did was try to talk me into complying. That's all they did, constantly. That's all they do. And they considered my stand so hard that they quit. They actually quit and bailed on me. And, you know, and I'm better off alone. So the people that I got around me are the good fellows at Basilicos, the young guys that have now told me that this fight has turned those young guys into lions. When I hear that, it makes me proud. Makes me proud. I got my best friend, Doug Wooding, over here, who's been next to me.
Yeah. What do I say all the time, huh? I'm looking to wake up the lions, right? That's what we're doing here. I'm looking to wake up the lions. There's not enough in my town, at least not showing themselves. Maybe they feel they got too much to lose up here. Not enough people coming out. We'll see.
Me every step of the way. I got Gino over here, who's she's amazing. Yeah, so I'm just proud of the stand that we've taken. And I tell people this too. When you think of complying or when you think of fighting, and all of a sudden you start to feel a twinge of fear, you need to remember what the founders did for us and what they sacrificed. And you need to remember also the great men and women in the military who are facing real bullets and bombs. They're not afraid. And then you're going to throw it all the way over a damn mask and over a pandemic of fear? I don't think so, right? So think about them, and then maybe you won't feel as much fear. And also, when you want to find the courage to open up, make it bigger than yourself. I don't want to hear this crap about people saying, oh, it's my right to work, like I said earlier. It's my right to pay. I have to pay bills. I have to pay rent. Woe is me, crying, right? If you lose a business, people rebuild businesses all the time. But you lose your freedoms, they're gone forever. Say goodbye. It's gone. So it's your obligation to stand up as a business owner. The government, thank you. The government has, in every war, it's usually the military goes off and fights. In this war, in this battle that we have now, the government has targeted small businesses as the enemy. It's our obligations to be soldiers in this fight. It is. And I think if you think that way, I think you'll find the courage to stand up and do it. For me, when I first heard about this, I thought, are you kidding me? I'm not going to complain at all. This is a blessing that I've been given this God-given opportunity to reveal this, expose this evil and fight these people. I was excited about it. In fact, when they don't fight me, when there's like a lull in the action, I get bored. I want them to fight a little bit harder, you know? I want to engage them because I want to expose them as much as possible.
Well, we're sort of running out. Somebody's got a question, but a couple things so you guys can find all the fun.
You get the gist, right? I think this guy's on point. I think he's a great representative of what these restaurants should be doing for themselves. Yeah, well, I mean, we're never going to be able to force these people into it, taking a stand on their own. So unless these people see great numbers in the small town, I don't think we'll see a change. A lot of people act like they're fed up. We'll see. I'm very curious. A little something. Little something coming down the pipe here real soon. And we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it. I'm waiting for TMK to get live access on StreamYard. You know how that goes down. Once that happens, I'm probably going to get on another bus. So I've let this go in the meantime for a reason. I could have got on a bus over the weekend, but some other individuals have reached out to me. And I think I might have an incredible time tomorrow running into the right people if I go down there tomorrow. So we will see how that goes. Yeah, Toronto, listen, that's the real deal right there. That is a restaurant owner in Huntington Beach, California, who refused to close under all the pressure. The ABC, the courts, all of them. All they wanted was compliance. They know damn well these things won't hold up in a court of law with their peers. There's going to be an evolution here. It's not a revolution. It's going to be an evolution of how we need to stop tolerating a lot of these regulations, a lot of these bylaws. Some things need to be scrubbed, quite honestly. And this power that the local health department has. What are we talking about right now? Since when is this country built on health and safety? I always thought it was built on freedom and liberty. The nature of a republic, right? You know, we're going to see. We're going to find out. I got some of the inside scoop right now. There's just, I don't know what type of businesses have the mentality, because I've been to a lot of them. I'm too grit sandpaper in town. What do you want from me? All right. I got no tolerance for just some of the stupidity and cowardice that I've received, or that I've seen, witnessed, if you will. So yeah, we're starting over, folks. Here we are. We ain't starting over on Rev Radio. You know what I'm about. But we are over here at Self-Ownership Reigns. 2 words. Self-Ownership Reigns on YouTube. That's the YouTube channel. I'll drop another link in here eventually. And we'll see, man. We're going to grow from there. There'll be a lot of different people, new people, some of the old, some of the new. And then the TMK, the mechanic knows 2. That's Roman numerals number 2. Basically 2 capital I's on a keyboard. And we'll run it, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get back. It only took us we had 800 subs when we lost the channel. So that was just 7 months or so. 100 subs a month. I don't know if I'll be so lucky. I was on a few bigger channels for a short amount of time. I got a couple of room raids. So we'll see how it works. I'm about to sign off of this here roundtable. YouTube, you hang tight. I'm going to be right back with you. Chatsy, you hang tight. I'll be there in 1 second. I hope that tonight you got a little understanding of how beneficial self-ownership can be. And furthermore, how to witness those that don't have it and that don't own their own product. And this government might be one of them that doesn't own their own product. Of course, many in government look at us as a product. if not at the least a commodity, right? So I gave you a lot of analogies. I put a lot of things together for you. It's up to you. Do what you want with it. Run with it. Look it up. Confirm it. Toronto will come right in there with that, no doubt. I can't save everybody. Right now, I'm trying to save myself in the little town I live in. And like I said early on, eventually, if the right things don't happen, I'll file whatever paperwork I need to against the right individuals. Most likely won't be the county. And we'll run it. I'll get what's coming to me. I'm not happy with the slander and the defamation. I found a new law, actually. Oh boy, this one looks nice. It looks like it's a civil violation, but it's punishable like a crime would be. It's very interesting. I'm looking more into it, but yeah, all good, Toronto. The mechanic knows at gmail.com is the email address. The mechanic knows at gmail.com. There you go. And in case you lose that one, just add a Gmail to TMK2. There you go. Maybe you done lost your mind, son. Maybe you ought to put the bottle down. Cheap. Oh, look, it's good to be back. It's Sunday night. I'm going to let go of the reins. Jer Bear, if you want to jump on here, man, help yourself, bro. You're more than welcome to jump on. That's right. I could. If I could generate an email list, I could. That'd be kind of cool. Start building a list and send it out that way. Nice. Not bad. Not bad. Again, getting the emails. You know, I live on communication, but somehow I've rubbed people in such a way where they just can't. They just can't. They can't deal with my actions in town. I'm within the law. My rights haven't been suspended. And I anticipate more pushback, but again, I get the same sense, right? That they're going to just try to convince me to conform, right? They're just going to try to convince me to conform. And man, that's just something I've struggled with for many, many years. And, well, it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. At least not for me. For me, I'm going to continue to live my life. Once things get back going over here, which looks like they're heading in that direction. The event over the last year that we've witnessed, in my view, was nothing more than to displace a presidency, an economy that he built on a fiat currency, Well, this makes a kind of preposterous statement to begin with, but either way, in the eyes of the media, on the right, he built a great economy. Which to a degree he did. It's funny how the wall stopped at 450. It's funny how there was an orange 17 in the front row at the Alamo. Not the Alamo, but in Alamo. Many things here. Many things here at place, whether it be Q or, some other narrative. I don't know where we're headed, but I'm glad to be alive. And as long as I'm alive, I think I'm down for the fight. I feel like it anyways. So thank you, everybody, and revolution.radio at freedomslips.com. It's good to be here, and I'm out. We're going to check in with you guys probably for sure on Wednesday night. But if we can find a manager in the high command or another host who wants to go live when I'm on the bus, I'll be live on Rev Radio on the bus. You guys can hear everything as it happens. I think that would be phenomenal air. Phenomenal. Gold. I'm happy to deliver solid gold. All right, there's the music. I'm out. Rev Radio, take it easy. YouTube, I'll be right back with you. Oh, YouTube, how are you? Jerry, welcome. Welcome. Good to be back with everybody. Yeah, we're hanging out. We're good. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link over into Chatsy real quick. Looks like I got to build some new mods in here. I think I gave a lot of people a wrench from the previous, but we'll see. Yeah, there it is right there. That's self-ownership. I already dropped that link in there. We'll change this account here to this one. 2 subs. Oh, so bad. So bad. All right, here we go. Let's see. And we'll drop this in here. Boom, that's TMK2 right there. We'll go in here. And we'll drop this here. Boom. All right. Well, that's it. There you go. YouTube. There is the new TMK2. Jared Bear, thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out, Toronto. May Street, thank you for the flowers. Everybody else, Dune, Valerie, Mary, yes, Lauren, I see in there. Nobody can hear me, but either way, have a good one. There you go, folks. There's that. And if you haven't subbed to that, please do. We'll continue to build this channel for shits and giggles. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what kind of content I can put on here. It's not going to be the usual stuff. It's going to be more philosophical, if you will. All right, Athrenas, thank you so much. Appreciate the loyalty. It means a lot to me. It does. I see a change afoot, Athrenas. Truth Seeker, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Waters, we will check in with you later. We're out.